Hello, wonderful people. We've got our beautiful Liz Cross, Mind Probe Extraordinaire. And if you go back to any of her YouTubes that we've done together, but also go to her YouTube channel, Psychic Medium Liz Cross, right?
Yeah.
Then you will see her explain what mind probing is about. So we're not going to take the time to do that now because we have a lot of questions for the mind probe for Pope Francis. And my wonderful son, Erik, on the other side, may need to help us out a little bit from time to time.
All
Um,
righty. Yeah. This
but
is
this will be
exciting
interesting.
stuff. Yeah. I'm ready to upset the entire Catholic community. Not.
Oh, you guys, just get a thick skin. I was raised Catholic for the first 5 years of my life.
Oh.
And my great uncle was Cardinal of Spain, so don't even get me started. All right, Pope Francis, born December 17th, 1936, is the Pope and head of the Catholic Church, the Bishop of Rome, and sovereign of the Vatican City State. He is the first Pope to be a member of the Society of Jesus, the Jesuits, whatever that is. I don't know anything about religion, sorry. The first from the Americas and the Southern Hemisphere, and the first born or raised outside of Europe since the 8th century papacy of the Syrian Pope Gregory III. How interesting. All right, here are the questions for him. Now you're gonna, his higher self does not lie, okay? But it's based on the higher self's opinions, views, and I can't remember how you list or explain it, Liz.
So basically, the conscious mind is what chooses to tell a lie, right? That's the PR spin.
Yeah.
So I could say to you, Elisa, did you run a marathon this morning? Oh, yes, Liz, I did. Look at me. I'm exhausted. And then I go in and say, Elisa, did you really run a marathon? No. This morning I got up and you just told me I had my coffee.
That's right. That's exactly what I did.
You don't really eat a lot of breakfast either.
No, I have to when I have my busy scalar days. Otherwise, the scalar doesn't go very well. All right, here are the questions for the mind probe.
All
Pope
righty.
Francis, thank you for agreeing to crack open your mind for us. Are your beliefs more expansive than the ideology of Catholicism? This is a several part question, so let's just start with that.
So, are your belief systems uh, more expansive than the ideology? No.
Okay, and what the majority perceive in it and the books they follow? I guess I should have read that as part of it. In other words, do you have a deeper understanding to the meanings within the Bible? And if so, oh, well, do you?
Do you have a deeper understanding to the meanings within the Bible? He believes he has a direct connection with God, his personal thoughts, feelings, and opinions.
Do you feel repressed?
No, he feels very enlightened.
Okay. I don't understand why Jesus, why do we need a pope to be the direct connection with Jesus? Well, we are all whole and part of God. Look, Pope Francis, one thing I am against in organized religion is they created the separation between us and God, even though we are whole and part of God. What do you say to that?
Well, well, that's an easy question. Not okay. What do you say about the fact that humans have representatives like you, not just your religion, but other
Yeah.
religions? Why is it, do you think that, you are the alleged go between humans and God? We have been appointed by God to represent, in his case, Christianity, Jesus, and the teachings.
But do you agree that one of the biggest sins of organized religion was to create separation of humanity from the divine? Because we are all whole and part of God. Well, okay. And do you believe that we are truly whole and part of God, our creator?
Believe we are truly whole and part of God, our creator? No, not at all. We
Okay.
are a very small piece of God, he says.
Okay.
And we need someone to represent us. We need someone to lead us. He's telling me.
Okay.
Without these representatives and his personal thoughts, feelings, and opinions, again, these are not yours, these are not mine, but his. He is telling me that humans are lost without representation. Seeing is believing, right? So we can't physically see God. We no longer can physically see Jesus, but in order to keep us, according to him, on the straight and narrow, and in this sort of, religion, there's a figurehead is required.
All right, let me go to Erik. Erik, do you believe that is necessary? And furthermore, do you believe that one of the biggest sins of organized religion was separation of humanity from God, from the divine?
Erik has given us a big thumbs down. He doesn't believe that organized religion is that important. It's just a guideline he's telling us.
It's an important guideline, yes.
But some people obviously take it way too far. And he's pointing to the Pope, and he's like him. And it's overzealous. It over controls. It overpowers. Is what he's saying. It was never meant to be like that. But Erik is saying to me that humans have created this institution. It's almost like they've run away with it. The information. Now we have to create an institution. And over time, it has evolved to become powerful, to become controlling, to set the laws, to govern people, to dictate how they run their lives, everyday lives. And it's also a big business, he's telling me, a big way to extract money from the masses.
Yeah, they got a lot of gold in the Vatican. Okay. All right, let me ask Jesus, if you can pull him in, Erik or Liz.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that organized religion created a separation between us and the divine, and not allowing us to feel like we are whole and part of our creator, of God?
Do you believe that? No, he believes organized religion has brought us closer to God.
Okay.
Because without organized religion, people are just lost. They have no morals, no ethics, no values. They don't know what's right, what's wrong. There's no code, no law, legal system.
Okay. But did they create an unnecessary separation between human and the divine? Because we are feeling separate
between the human and the divine.
And maybe it was necessary. I don't know.
No, he doesn't believe. He believes that, according to Jesus's personal thoughts, feelings, and opinions, he's saying it's an avenue to be close to the divine. Look, without these representatives, these figureheads, right? People didn't know what to worship. They knew they felt something, but they had like spirit gods, like the god of the sun and the god of the moon and the god of water and things like that. They had no idea what was going on. They just knew that things were much more powerful than they were, and they were trying to connect, and humans were particularly lost for millions of years. Through many generations of early humans, they worshiped the sky. Mm-hmm.
But maybe these intermediaries, let's compromise with Jesus. If the Pope taught us and agreed with us with that we are whole and part of God, they can still guide us, but still teach us and help us understand that we're not separate from the divine, that we need guidance, but we are not separate. We are whole and part of our creator. What about that?
Okay, so I'm so sorry. What's the question again? I'm sorry.
Okay, well, I was saying let's compromise. Okay, so Jesus and the Pope are saying that we need the guidance, but part of that guidance could include teaching us and making us aware of the fact that we are whole and part of God, of the divine. That's it.
Okay, So breaking away from the channeling and the mind probing for a second, okay? This is what I know because I do the CTT, which is consciousness transformation techniques, okay? What this is just a system to sustain consciousness. That's all this is. And if we go into source is a consciousness, a very large consciousness, and we have to have the energy flow moving back and forth, right? This is why we have dark experiences and light experiences, and we are basically the machines that are moving this energy back and forth. Trauma,
Wow.
okay, happiness, joy, love, bad things, good things, grief, loss, sadness, depression, all this stuff is going on and it's constantly moving. If you did not have this energy constantly moving back and forth, right? We would not even exist. Source would not exist because the only way consciousness sustains itself is through energy. Consciousness is energy, and the way it has to sustain is to create more and more energy. So it manifests itself into us, which are these processing machines, and we're doing all the work sort of here at the ground level. All the planets are magnets that are sort of helping to pull the energy around and create these negative circumstances. Okay. So where does religion fit in? Well, we are necessary objects, our reincarnations, our cycles, all this stuff is necessary because here on the earth plane, again, we're the ones moving it around. That's how consciousness is sustained all the way up to the top. Now, from doing CTT, where I do a past life regression technique, when somebody is separated from source, so that initial separation, the carving out of the soul, that's usually quite a traumatic event. And that's what causes all of us from being light beings. Now we're going into polarized beings. We're a mixture of light and dark. Okay. So now we're a soul. And we're not given a manual. We're not given any instructions. We have to make our way and build our soul and become these personalities and these characteristics through all of these reincarnation experiences. And that's how we achieve ascension. Now, on a soul level, we're all working towards ascension, but we actually on a soul level do not know why. Now, what comes in, as far as I know, is every time organized religion pops into the fray, right? What do? It's fear and obedience, right?
Yeah.
That's why. Because if we didn't have fear and obedience, an element of fear and obedience, I mean, every religion has fear and obedience as its forefront, right? That is especially these organized religions. So without the fear and obedience, if we were just to go and be free without any sort of fear of punishment, well, then we wouldn't be processing like we are to keep the consciousness machine alive. So, okay, so that's what I know. Okay, and that's what I know from doing CTT is we have to achieve this consciousness expansion. And how we do that is by throwing out over time slowly. And that incorporates all the past life programming as well, right? All these traumatic and dark experiences. As you're bringing more light into the soul, your consciousness is expanding. So let me ask the Pope, hearing all that, what would you say to this just being a consciousness machine? He says it's very possible. And we have to have these light and dark experiences. See, he doesn't even know why we have light and dark experiences.
Wow. How is your health, Pope Francis?
It's not good. He has problems with the bladder, urinary system, prostate.
Okay. All right. In Biden on his trip to Europe here lately, he touched foreheads with you, and you looked a little alarmed. What feeling did you have?
What feeling?
I mean, was that a breach of protocol, or
what feeling did you have? He just thought that was very bizarre behavior.
Yeah.
Okay. Almost as if he was as equal or equal to the Pope, by touching the forehead instead of touching a lower portion of the
Or kiss
body.
the ring. Yeah.
Yeah, like the hand, or it was almost as if I'm your equal. And the Pope found that to be quite insulting, actually. I didn't
Okay.
know about
Yeah. Will the true teachings of Jesus that are locked in an archive, I didn't know that, ever going to be revealed? Even you have to admit that religion is man-made. Well, I don't know about that. Okay, so
the true
what?
teaching of Jesus
Yeah,
will ever be revealed. No. And I feel that the true teachings of Jesus is so minimal. I
yeah,
feel that the documentation was what I'm getting very strongly from the Pope is that it's hardly anything. But again, it's that perception of consciousness. Woo, the real
yeah.
teachings of Jesus are there. We have to obey. We have to fear. I mean, I've certainly looked 200-300 years out into the future, and organized religion is a dying breed. I mean, we're
Yeah.
lucky if it's even around 200-300 years from now.
Well, I think it was very important in taming the barbarians, civilizing humanity in a way.
Mm-hmm.
But also it's important for social, bringing community. So there's some pros and cons, obviously. Do you believe? I mean, I think one of the posts, maybe it was you, announced that there was really no hell. What is your opinion about that?
Oh, so the hell that I know from all the work that I've done. Well, let me ask the Pope first. Do you believe there's a hell? See, yeah, he believes firmly that there's a hell, right? Now, from what I know, there is no hell. What there is,
Create it. Yeah, we create
what
our own
there
hell.
is as a soul, as an individual soul, this is the consciousness machine. This is the game we play, right? If a soul really refuses to play the game and really doesn't want to, reincarnate and do work towards ascension, then what happens is if it's wasting valuable source energy to sustain this consciousness, then it will be incinerated. Okay. That is the idea of hell. But do serial killers like go into the spirit world and burn in hell? Absolutely not. No.
Well, what Erik is telling me is that the fire and brimstone hell, if a person before death believes that that's the case, then they will experience that until they ask for help, and then they're brought out of that illusion.
Are they? Well, yeah, because you can create your own reality up there, right?
Yeah.
You can manifest anything. So if that's the energy, if you're carrying around those guilty sort of those feelings and that you feel like you deserve that, well, then
Yeah.
you manifest and create that. So I can see how that would be the answer. Yes.
Okay. Is the chronovisor device, which is apparently a machine I've never heard of, that allows them to see images or moments in the past, true? Or is it a conspiracy theory? Now, either Pope Francis or Erik can answer this.
I'm getting a no from Erik and the chronovisor device. I don't think he knows what that is.
There are stories that the Vatican has this device in their vault, whatever. How involved, is the Vatican with galactic beings?
Ooh, how involved is
And how long has that been going on?
in galactic beings?
If
They
so.
know that they exist. The Pope is telling me we've had quite a few interactions with different galactic beings. I mean, the Vatican is definitely a source of, a magnet, a place of where, they want to alien beings or extraterrestrial beings are wanting to investigate.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, but do you know that their energy? No, he doesn't know that. So by being energy, they can just view whatever they want to anyway. I mean, I feel that galactic and extraterrestrials, what's coming in, is they're absolutely fascinated by organized religion and how it has the ability to control the human population.
Pope Francis, have you had any personal experiences with a galactic being, an alien, or just hearsay?
He says he's had like run-ins with them in his dreams.
Okay.
So is that on the astral plane? He's like, I don't know what that was, but so that's very typical of sort of abduction experiences where they take the consciousness of the person and they transport it to wherever they want it to. So I feel like he has had an abduction experience.
Ooh,
Would you say that it's an abduction? He doesn't know what it is. It's not a physical abduction, but it's certainly a consciousness abduction.
interesting. All right. How does the Vatican protect the many priests who have abused nuns and children over the course of history? I mean, why? Sorry, why? Not that you did, but why has that happened?
Why did you protect the nuns and the priests that abused
Vatican.
children?
Yeah.
What? Because it was trying to preserve its reputation.
Of course.
If the reputation is destroyed, then they won't have any worshipers. They won't have any followers.
Yeah.
And right, does that hit you hard on a business level? Absolutely. I mean, they need followers to sustain the business.
Makes sense. Why were the nuns shunned and kicked out when a priest impregnated them? The nuns are taught to obey priests. Many struggle with this and their vow of celibacy. I don't even know that's true. Whatever.
Why do you kick the nuns out when they've been impregnated by a priest? Yeah, because of the vow of celibacy. He's telling me. But I'm saying, but do you blame the nuns more than the priests? He's saying no. The priests are just to blame, but did the nuns ever confide and say who the priests were? No, they wouldn't say who it was. And I'm saying, but what about in the case of possible rape? And, over the ages, I'm sure there's been rapes and sexual assaults of nuns. And we don't talk about that, he says.
Okay. What happens when the doors closed to select the next pope? What goes on behind closed doors? Let us be a fly on the wall.
What happens when
the doors
closed and they select the next pope? Well, deliberations are taking place, and they're also, I feel like, trying to get some godly type insight. They're trying to get some visions, some feelings, why they believe that this particular person or that particular person is better. They're trying to get the intuitive feelings in to see who would be the better, pope, who would be the better leader.
Okay. The hundreds of Indian children, I don't know if that's Native American or Indian, found buried at Catholic churches. Were they used in black magic? First of all, even true.
So I know what this is. Okay. This is going to be about the indigenous population in Canada.
Oh,
yes, whereby they were sent to residential Catholic schools to make them Canadians or whatever. And they uncover these mass graves in the back of these old residential schools and Catholic churches where loads of children were killed and they were just put in these mass graves. So that's what they're referring to.
Black magic?
Was there black magic involved?
If you don't know Pope Francis, then maybe Erik does.
Well, the Pope says no. That was just an element of cruelty that was taking place unbeknownst to the Vatican. They did hear complaints, but of course it was a lot of hearsay, gossip. They really didn't want to believe that somebody in that particular religion could be so evil, is what he's telling me. That's why oftentimes they would turn a blind eye as well. Erik, do you say that there was an element of black magic? Not black magic, but certainly darkness. There was a lot of sexual assault going on, molesting, raping, selling, trafficking children, selling them into slavery even.
Were negative entities involved?
Were there any other entities involved? No,
negative entities. Okay. All right, the last question, I think, for part one.
Right, it's a big one.
Is it true that the white hats, I don't know, removed 6 billion or so of gold from under the Vatican in its huge tunnel system? I don't know, white hats.
Ooh, that's a good question. Is it true that the White Hats removes lots of gold from underneath the Vatican. No. Is the gold stored in the Vatican? That gold is not stored in the Vatican.
Okay.
No, that gold has been moved and funneled somewhere else under a better security system. You don't want everybody to know where your gold is.
Okay. All right. Is it true that 33 cardinals were just executed by the Vatican for satanic ideology?
Is it true that 33 cardinals were just executed by the Vatican for satanic ideology? No.
Okay. What is the percentage of practicing pedophiles within the Vatican? Erik, you might have to answer this. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, let's try. What is the percentage of practicing pedophiles in the entire Catholic system?
Oh, within the Vatican.
No, or within the Vatican. Within the Vatican?
Yeah.
Maybe 2%.
Oh, that's not much. But 2% too much. Last question for part 1. Have human sacrifices taken place within the Vatican's walls, even if it's centuries ago?
Sacrifices taken place within the Vatican's walls. So the Pope actually doesn't know for sure. So let me probe the Vatican. I'm going to grab the Vatican.
Oh, yeah.
And have any human sacrifices taken place within the walls? Oh, loads of times. But it's going way, 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 way
I can imagine. And what were the sacrifices? What did they want those sacrifices to accomplish?
What did they want those sacrifices to accomplish? So it was mainly like punishment. You know, this is what happens to you if you do not obey. Okay. So those were the type. I don't know if that really fits within the definition of sacrifice, as in you're giving something over, but certainly they believe that they were doing a service to humanity, to the earth plane, and to God by removing that particular individual off the earth plane. Okay,
one last one. Okay, Pope Francis, what do you think about the Spanish Inquisition, the Salem witch trials, and the Crusades? So much death occurred in those 3 things. And in many religions, there have been a lot of deaths. But what do you think about that?
What do you think about the Spanish Inquisition
and the Crusades?
He's saying, and what do you think? So it was the best decision for the people involved at the time that it was made. So, you know, now we have a whole different awareness in this day and age, but in that day and age, you know, it seemed like a necessary thing. All roads led to the Spanish Inquisition.
Okay. What about the Crusades? Same?
The Crusades. The Crusades, he's telling me, that was just kind of a natural consequence of war. It was just a natural, you know, that's what humans did. Now, he doesn't believe that came directly from God.
Oh, yeah.
He believes that that came from, you know, humanity twisting God's words, God's spoken word, he says, into whatever it is they needed in order to feel more powerful. See, that's the problem with religion.
Yeah.
That was there. They understand that humans, you know, we have souls, we have this thing where we need to connect, we need to feel aligned with source, with God, whatever you want to call him, or her, or they, whatever. And religion is very powerful in that way, especially to vulnerable people.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's been used and abused as a tool to have power over somebody else.
So power of good, power of bad. All right. This is a great place to stop. Thank you, Liz Cross, mind prober extraordinaire. And thank you, Pope Francis. We're going to get right back to you for part 2. You guys don't miss this. So hit the notification bell so you get alerted when part 2 comes out. And please subscribe to this channel. And thank you, Erik, for helping us out here. All right. Thank you.